Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Untitled. Today, I'm joining my friend Rehan, and we're going to be talking about self-development and how we can use it to achieve our everyday goals and ambitions. Yeah, there we go. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing very well.
Well, how's
How
your
are you?
lockdown? I'm good. How's your lockdown been?
It's been all right. Just doing online classes.
Yeah.
Finished all my assignments actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably gonna go back home for the holidays and enjoy it with my family.
That's good. I'm glad. How's your online classes been?
It's been all right. Um, actually, I can't think. My mind just went blank.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ask? Online
How
classes.
your online classes have gone?
Yeah, the classes have been all right. I only have a few classes a week, so it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah,
I just got to focus on essays, like my dissertation and stuff. That's it, really.
that's fair. But yeah, so we said we were going to talk about self-development today. What are the most important sort of principles for you when it comes to these things?
Mm. I think the most important would have to be. Wait, sorry,
Mana.
my phone just went off. The most important thing would have to be um, probably having a routine and having a schedule and being able to manage your time efficiently.
Okay, how does that, but how? In what way?
So I think the best way to start off is just break up your day bit by bit. So start off with a morning routine,
Yeah.
then get into that gradually. And then when that becomes easy to go through, then maybe a midday routine or a nighttime routine that you can go through and just gradually go into them. And it will become easier and easier. And you'll find your day just becomes um, just more slow paced. Like
Mm.
you're more present about you're more present and you can think about what you're doing properly.
Nah, I agree. In terms of having like a whole structure to your day, or like a whole morning routine to your day, or nighttime routine, whatever it is, it's definitely important because, like you said, it slows down your day, and there's a lot of custom habits that you can have during your day, like meditation, which also slows your day down, makes you feel more present, and a lot of other things like exercise too. But we'll talk about those importance when we get there. Um, but yeah,
What do you wanna go into?
in terms of exercise, I don't
We
know.
can
So
we
like
can go
you,
into the
hmm?
scheduling and routine. What do you do? Do you have a morning routine that you follow?
Well, right now, I can't lie to you, I've been slacking a little bit. Just a tiny bit, I've been slacking. But
Yeah.
I'd say during the summer, I definitely did have a morning routine in terms of what I was doing. So I was waking up at least like 9, 10 in the morning. This is after I graduated, by the way. So I was waking up at 9, 10 in the morning, having a cold shower, doing my meditation, doing everything I needed to do. Sometimes I'd read like 25 minutes in the morning as well. But like that was only on the occasion. Not always, but on the occasion.
Were you
For
reading?
me, huh?
Were you reading like self-development, or was that just like general
I was actually
fiction?
reading this book.
What's that? The Power of Now.
Yeah, The
Oh,
Power
okay.
of Now. So it's just basically a book about living in the present, staying in the present and remaining in the present. Always kind of sort of remaining stoic. So what we, yeah, just remaining stoic when it comes to feelings and situations in your life. But yeah, I'd say one of the most important things for me was definitely exercise because you know the science behind it, like in terms of the whole hormones being released and everything like that. It
Yeah.
keeps me mentally stable, so I do it every other day. Um, but yeah, I've got other habits too, but the meditation and the exercise was definitely important to me. And the cold showers. The cold showers is definitely what gave me energy in the morning. I got up
Yeah.
for those. When I used to get up, I used to jump straight into the cold showers. Felt so awake, felt so energized, and it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think with the exercise, I think people should understand how physical fitness translates to the mental side of things and how um, they're both linked. And if you focus on one, then it's going to benefit the other. So if you spend 20 minutes a day doing exercise, and that's not a lot of time at all. Everyone has a spare 20 minutes in a day.
Why do you
If you
wait?
do that,
I was gonna say, did you think 20 minutes a day was not good enough exercise, or it was good enough exercise? I didn't hear you properly. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah. It is good enough. I'd say 5 minutes a day is
You
good
say
enough
five
exercise.
minutes a day. I'd say a bit longer at least. I'd say at least like 15, 20.
I
50,
mean,
no, not even that. 25 to 30.
everyone has different motivation levels,
Yeah.
and not everyone wants to be shredded or massive.
Yeah, that's a fair
So
point.
if you're just moving about 5 minutes a day, even if you just go on uh, a light walk, then that's enough to give you the mental benefits.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people definitely undermine the importance of exercise when it comes to mental clarity and just having that
Mm.
peace of mind. Me personally, it's helped me in a lot of situations. I'm not going to dwell into or dive into those situations right now, but it's kept me stable, it's kept me grounded, and it shifts my focus elsewhere, if that makes sense. So whenever I'm exercising, lifting heavy in the gym, or going out on a run, skipping, whatever it is, Mr. Boxing and that. I'm joking, nah. Nah, it just provides me with that mental clarity, just clearness in my head, and it's a stress relief, right? Loads of people use exercise as a stress relief. That's what I've realized.
Yeah.
I've only been going to the gym for like 6 months at uni, and then I was doing calisthenics with you for a
Mm.
little bit. But during that sort of 10-month period, I definitely sort of realized why people use exercise as a means of a stress relief, or just for their own peace of mind. So it's definitely important. Another thing that I would say is important is affirmations, which is what you told me before as well. Um,
Yeah.
being able to say these, yeah, it's like being able to say positive affirmations to yourself in the mirror, whether you're saying it out loud or in your head, it sort of contributes to the whole concept of neuroplasticity. So you know what neuroplasticity is, so like changing the
Yeah.
habits and changing the way you think about yourself. So essentially duping your subconscious mind into believing that you are good enough, whichever one is. So
Mm.
that's why I think affirmations are important because it contributes to your confidence.
Yeah. No, it's definitely important. Yeah, it does contribute to confidence. But the only thing with affirmations is, I would say, make it personal to you. Like you can go um, follow people on Instagram or look things up on Google, and they'll give you a list of affirmations to say. But if it doesn't mean anything to you, then it's not gonna help you as much. Like
Mm,
say for instance, if uh, someone said, if you want to make money in the mirror every morning, um, say to yourself, one day I'm going to be a millionaire. Like it doesn't apply to me. It's not going to apply to everyone.
yeah.
So you have to
Um,
think what's meaningful for you.
I do agree. I think you have to think of what's meaningful for you. But I also, like I said earlier, in terms of exercise, lots and lots of people undermine affirmations too. People just think looking at a mirror, saying things to yourself is just a bunch of bullshit, really.
It's
But it's
it's
not.
awkward. It's awkward.
It's very, very awkward. Like the start of this
I
podcast was
encourage
very
everyone
awkward.
to try it. I
Huh?
encourage everyone to try it.
I don't know what, in terms of like your own personal growth, how have they helped you?
Um, I would say speaking in front of a camera. Like I've started my own YouTube channel with my friend, and we had done a few videos before I'd started doing affirmations, and I could see a difference. Like doing the intros and just talking to the camera. I seemed a lot more awkward before. Like obviously, there's still a long way to go, but yeah, I could definitely see a difference after doing that, because it's not normal. Like there'll be people in your house, there'll be people walking around that will be able to hear you, and like you'll think to yourself, "Oh, these people can hear me. They're gonna think I'm weird." Like even though it's your own family, you're in your head. You're gonna be like, "Oh, like they
No,
think I'm
no,
weird.
no,
They
no.
think
I
I'm
get what
weird
you're
talking to
saying.
myself."
Huh?
Yeah,
What are you saying?
they might think you're a weirdo talking to yourself, but you kind of just have to get that out of your head. That it's just you and you. There's no one else involved in the
Yeah.
conversation.
And you know what? That links to another point that I wanted to make in terms of you being your own limitation when it comes to challenges, situations, or anything like that. Um, when I say you are your own limitation, I'm talking about your mind. So your mind obviously is going to trick you into saying you're not good enough for something, or you can't do this because you don't have the facilities for that big man, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Um, essentially, the way I see it is if you befriend your mind and your heart on your journey, make sure that they're companions, it helps. Gives you a lot of confidence knowing that it's you, like you said, it's you versus yourself, right? It gives you a lot of confidence knowing that the only competition that you should have is yourself and your mind essentially as well. Um, yeah, I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, like you just said, um, about comparisons, I feel like that can have a big impact on confidence when you have that mindset shift of um, why am I not this person or why am I not that person? You know, seeing people Instagram famous or famous on YouTube. Like if you compare yourself to yourself, you're probably going to feel a lot more confident because you have a long way to go to get to that person that you might want to be. But if you keep
Yeah.
trying to compare yourself to that person, say, oh, why am I not as good as this? It's because you haven't put in the work. So if you could keep comparing yourself to yourself and have your aim, I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday, then your progress is going to be a lot better, and you're not going to um, like diminish your self esteem.
Yeah, in a way, I see what you're saying. Actually, no, I do. I agree with what you're saying, like 100%. Um, I think personally, well, not too personally, but personally speaking, when it has come to me being my own limitation, it's like for this intro for this podcast, bro. It was it was the most difficult thing. Not the most difficult thing for me, but it was
Yeah,
difficult. It was difficult in terms of the fact that I needed to sort of get past myself and be like, you know what, it's going to be cringe for about 5, 10 seconds. It might be awkward at the start because you haven't done this for like 4 months, but it's a minor. With time, you'll get better. Um,
yeah, yeah,
and I
exactly.
know,
It's temporary.
yeah, and I know like hopefully if I stay consistent and keep on putting out episodes for this podcast, I know like 6 or 7 months down the line, I'll look back and I'll literally say that I've come a long way since doing that first intro.
Yeah, definitely.
100%, 100. I always will.
It's kind of like when we were speaking the other day, and I was saying to you that embarrassment is the cost of entry,
Yeah.
meaning like your whatever you do for the first time is not going to be as good as maybe the 60th time.
Okay.
So you kind of
No,
just
yeah.
have to you kind of have to get over yourself. Like you're not going to be that great at first.
100%.
You might embarrass yourself, but if you want to get to a higher place and keep improving, then you just have to deal with the initial embarrassment.
You know what that reminds me? What was it? The quote about Seneca that I was telling you about faith. Let me try to find it now. Quick time, because I want to read it out.
Let me just catch Golden Hour real quick. Ooh.
Huh? You want to catch gold now? Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, so this is a quote by Seneca. It was luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So I know in the long term future, if I keep on preparing, the podcast will hopefully get a few more listeners. I can't remember what I was saying in relation to that now, but I think it was what was it? Embarrassment is a cost of entry. I think those two quotes are kind of similar, and they're good quotes to live by 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, let me see what else I had on the agenda. Um,
I
what?
can
Go
go
on.
back to I can shift it back to the morning routine. We can talk about meditation.
Yeah. Do that.
Okay. So going back to the morning routines, one thing I do as soon as I wake up, I meditate for 5 minutes. I don't know how long I've been doing that for now, but I found um, it just makes the day go a lot slower. Like you feel a lot more present and aware of what's going on. And yeah, you just feel a lot more peaceful going through the day. So I definitely recommend doing meditation. You know, there's guided meditations you can do on YouTube, or you can just sit there, freestyle, however you feel comfortable meditating.
No, you know
And
what? No, go on. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
yeah, I'd say even if you just do it for 1 minute, um, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, like that's fine because we're not. And you'll find at first it's very hard because we're not used to just sitting down and trying to empty our mind because especially with our phones, our minds are constantly stimulated. Like take TikTok for example, you're scrolling
Sorry.
one video to the next and your mind is just constantly moving. So just taking that time to just like slow down, I think is so beneficial.
I think when it comes to meditation, like from personal experience, What I can tell you from firsthand is you're right in saying that it definitely slows your whole day down, makes you more present as well. A lot of people don't talk about the benefits of that, and it also teaches you to live in the moment, which is exactly what the Power of Now tells you to do. Tells you to live in the moment, not worry about anything. And I've said this before, and it just contributes highly towards mental clarity as well. So like for me personally, what I do is I do the 10-minute like spinal breathing meditations, not every morning now, but during the summer I was doing them every morning, up until about October, because my mind was racing all over the place. I was applying for grad schemes, applying for loads of different graduate opportunities. So essentially, it would all get a bit overwhelming. But during the morning and the night, definitely meditation helped me a lot when it came to slowing down and also just clearing my mind. So yeah, it's definitely really underrated, and a lot of people just don't realize that. I think it's important. It's definitely a big one.
I think
Um,
one important thing to realize is that, like, all the things we've spoken about so far, you don't have to just implement them like at the same time in your life. You can
yeah,
start. You can start step by step. So if you want to start with meditation, if you want to start with exercise, whichever you find easiest, and then gradually build up to, slowly developing yourself.
yeah, it's like slowly writing a book, right? You don't just write it all in one go. You take it bit by bit.
Yeah,
In terms of
exactly.
your morning routine, maybe add like I don't know 20 press ups or something like that, or 5 minutes meditation, and then the next week you can do like 10 minutes of meditation, or just keep on adding like not slow habits, but what's the word? Uh, just sort of incorporate smaller habits into your daily routines, and that will help a lot. It will just make your day,
Yeah.
not make your day go by quicker, but just make you feel more prepared. And I also think another important thing that we didn't touch. Oh shit, my headphones. Another important thing that I think that we didn't cover upon was the company that you keep around you. Personally, for
Yeah.
me, I like to surround myself with people that not necessarily have the same aspirations, goals as me. Like yours is to sort of be a professional athlete or do something in terms of athletics, and mine is I still don't know what mine is at the moment. I'm still working towards that. Um,
No, that's fine. I feel like a lot of people get scared when they don't know what their passion is, but you just have to try different things and find
yeah,
out
yeah, yeah. And trying
what
different things and
suits you.
finding out. It's a part of life, and essentially you will always find something that you'll be passionate about and that you want to pursue, whether that's
Mm,
helping people learn, like being a teacher, or working in law, or just working a 9 to 5. Some people like that lifestyle. But like back to the point I was saying, you're only as good as the
yeah,
company you keep. So it's important to surround yourself with people that are motivated and also are ambitious and they want to learn more. They help you grow as a person and they challenge your personal growth and your character development as well. That's a
yeah.
very, very big important thing too, when it comes to the company that you keep. But yeah,
Mm.
I'm blessed enough to say that I surround myself with good people. So I
Is
kind of
that
know.
including me? Is that
Yeah,
including
yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah. Of course, it's
Okay,
included. Maybe,
thank
maybe.
you.
I'm
I'm
joking.
flattered.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah,
that's spot on. You're a product of your environment.
yeah.
So yeah, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like if four people are doing one thing, it's likely you're gonna become the fifth.
Oh,
So
yeah. What do you think of role models? So having the right types of role models in terms of like
uh,
people who are famous, like influencers and things like that.
I think you have to apply it to what you want to do.
Hmm.
It has to make sense. Like there's no point in me following, you know, Love Island models, for example. Like there's zero use in following what they do, but following performance coaches, athletes, that's gonna have more benefit to me. So it's all comes back to how specifically is it going to benefit you?
I think, yeah, no, I agree. And I also think that a lot of people are too quick to blame social media when it comes to failing, or not necessarily when it comes to failing, but not achieving what they want to achieve, right?
Mm.
Personally, the way I see it, or from my perspective, is I see it as you're in control of your. My fucking voice cracked. What was that?
Don't worry about it.
You're in control of your own Instagram account and your TikTok account. You can choose who you want to follow. If you want to follow people like Gary Vee, if you want to follow people like David Dobrik, you go do your thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it essentially sort of not necessarily, it doesn't really tie into the whole concept of you're as good as you're only as good as the company that you keep, but it sort of incorporates, because you're seeing their content daily on their Instagram,
Yeah.
and in a way it's going to imprint on your brain, right? You're going to see it, you're going to be like, I want to be like Gary Vee, and I'm still young, I'm only 22. That's what he says anyway.
Yeah.
So I think social media is definitely a massive influence in terms of the mindset that you adopt. It's a big thing, and loads of people don't realize it, and they're too quick to blame the toxicities of social media when it comes to their own failings. But yeah, no, that's just my view on social media in general, to be honest. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I agree. Like, if you constantly consume negative content, then it's likely to have an impact on, the energy you put out. And I think it's an interesting point you made about how um, it's more about how people use social media, because I think it is true. Like, social media has been quite demonized. Like, I don't know, let me think of an example. Like how it creates depression, I guess you could say, or anxiety.
Yeah,
But it's how people choose to use it. Like, I know a lot of people might get anxiety from following, all these models and saying, "Oh, why don't I look like that?" Stop following them then. It doesn't benefit your life. Maybe it's definitely easier said than done, but you have to think about um you have to think about you. That's
yeah.
it. Simply as
Oh
that.
yeah, that's another thing I was gonna say. But you finished there.
Sorry.
Well, you finished there before I made my other point. I didn't want to really cut you off.
Yeah, yeah, I was.
No, I was gonna say, fuck, it just slipped my mind. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, no. When it comes to being selfish, it's also okay to be a little bit selfish when it comes to self-development and character growth. 100%. You
Yeah,
know,
I agree.
if you're constantly putting other people first, if you're constantly putting people's social media profile before you, taking care. I say not taking care of others, but I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head. Like, I don't know, just putting other people's needs before yours,
Yeah,
essentially is not a good thing either, just because of the fact that it hinders your growth. Less time to focus on yourself too, and yeah, nah. So being selfish is definitely a good thing. Um, a lot of character growth comes with being selfish.
yeah. I definitely agree, because I think what a lot of people probably don't understand is that's a bit harsh to say. How can
Well,
I put this? Um, but no one's going to care about you as much as you care about you.
yeah, I know, I
Everyone,
agree.
everyone's selfish, whether it's subconsciously or consciously. So you have to consciously be selfish and understand that this person. Let me reword that.
Oh my days. Man, don't worry about it.
Wait, it's come back to me.
Yeah, chicken. I'm still looking like Mr. Glow. Sorry.
Oh wow, it's really gone from my head. You have to consciously be selfish, and okay, yeah, and you have to consciously be selfish and just put yourself first, because in a lot of situations, other people are going to do the same.
Yeah,
Where I don't know, for example, it just might lead to you wasting your time. So sometimes you just have to value your own time
yeah.
more,
No, I agree. And when
because
in terms,
time's the biggest asset we have. So
time's a fucking huge asset. But in terms of, like, still on the notion of being selfish, I think, and from what I've learned from sending out loads of like job applications during a pandemic, like for graduate opportunities, nobody gives a fuck about what you think. They're only going to remember the influential people at the end of the day. So when it comes to applying for these things and going to interviews, you got to realize you got to be selfish. So put yourself out there, be passionate about what it is you're applying for. I feel like this is coming from more of a place that's centralized here, if anything. So from
yeah,
my, but no, like honestly, nobody's gonna care about you at the end of the day. You get the job and you replace and you leave, you're replaced easily. So you just need to focus on yourself. Um,
yeah,
and like I said, a lot of people don't realize a lot of things. But I'm trying not to speak from a self-righteous perspective, but
Mm.
I'm saying that caring for yourself and putting yourself first definitely essential in terms of growth. And it just
But
literally applies everywhere.
on that point, that doesn't mean you don't care about others.
Yeah. 100%. Don't be
You
a
care about
dickhead.
yourself more. Doesn't mean, yeah, exactly. But
Dickhead. Care about other people. Care about your family. Care about your friends. Do what you need to do. You know, spend time with them. But and don't keep yourself cooped up inside a room just sending off job applications all day like I do. No, I'm joking. I don't do that.
no, but
But
you do have to like you have to be your number one fan.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. No
let
one's
me
gonna
give
give
you
a
an
shit
example.
about you.
Like, no one's calling me at 6 o'clock saying, "Have you gotten up yet? Have you started getting ready to go to the gym?" No
Yeah.
one's calling me at 11 o'clock saying, "Oh, have you made lunch yet?" Da-da-da. Like,
You got to do these things for yourself.
it's you going through that process yourself. No one's constantly checking up on you to do those things.
Yeah, it's like, and it also ties into what I said earlier about your mind and your heart being your own companions. So make them your companions rather than your own enemy. Shifting the way you think, the whole concept of neuroplasticity is very, 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 very important.
Mm.
And we've already spoken about all this stuff in terms of affirmations as well. Like affirmations contributes towards neuroplasticity. If you constantly say that, keep the affirmations personal, like you already said. You're eventually going to become a person or a character that's sort of you care about yourself and you care a bit less about other people. It sounds very cynical saying that, but
Mm.
it needs to be done in terms of trajectory going in the right direction. It's important. But yeah, nah, I can't really think of anything else.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's what I have to say.
how have you used in terms of achieving your goals? How have you used all these things for yourself? So like you want to be an athlete or you want to you're going to sports therapy. So how have you used them for yourself?
Okay, starting with meditation.
Yeah.
I don't think we touched on this before when you spoke on meditation, but um, or maybe slightly, but not directly. But
Mm.
I feel it brings about just more discipline.
Yeah.
Just being able to sit, empty your mind, um, and just be just alone with, no thoughts, whatever, however you're doing meditation. I feel like it brings about a certain level of discipline. And, doing that every day, you kind of, it just becomes a habit. And I feel like
Mm.
with, American football in particular and training, there's going to be some days where, like, even just a normal gym goer, there's going to be some days where you just don't feel like going.
Yeah.
And it's discipline that gets you up, and you're just like, I don't want to do it, but I'm just gonna go do it anyways because I know it's beneficial for me. So all these things like cold showers, meditation, they build your discipline to the point where if you don't want to do something, you're just like, I'm just gonna go get it done.
You know what? I agree. And in terms of building discipline, speaking from I have said that so many times. Speaking from my personal experience, but it's true.
Mm.
That's all I can do. Um, apart from garner information. But yeah, personally speaking, when it came to so obviously I was never an avid gym goer. I was never a big fan of working out up until let's say August 2019 or like last year. Where I was working out consistently, like you put on a bit of gains, you get a bit of muscle, and you suddenly think you can take on the world. But then it's not until you actually go to the gym and you realize there's a lot of people that are stronger than you, bigger than you, um, can lift more than you. I
Yeah.
think that sense of discipline is also not a priority, but it's also significant insofar as the fact that you have to realize that there's people better than you out there, but you shouldn't compare yourself to them. You should only focus on your own avenue, and focus on your own personal growth and focus on whatever ambitions you want to achieve, whether it's in the gym, whether it's American football, whether it's European football, whatever it is. Like I go football training sometimes, but I haven't been in a long time. But when I was doing it for the uni team, I never ever used to compare myself to anyone else. When we used to do our bleep tests, which is like a monthly thing in terms of football training, I compare my progress, but I'd never compare my stamina progress to anyone else whatsoever because I knew it wouldn't do anything for me. I just wanted to be the better version of me when it came to my sport and when it came to my own body as well. When it came to going to the gym, at first I did compare myself to other people, but then you sort of realize like if you're on different avenues, for example, some people want to be bodybuilders, other people just want to stay fit, like be in good shape and be ripped or something like that. Um, you're never going to achieve your goal if you keep on doing that. And being humbled and disciplined by other people is what my sort of main point was when I mentioned going to the gym and seeing other people that are sort of better than you and bigger than you at lifting. That humbles you in the respect that there's competition out there, but you shouldn't see it as competition. You should see it as your own opportunity to grow. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I understand. And I feel like it links back to what you're saying about selfishness. Like no one in that gym cares about what you're lifting. Like I feel like a lot of people are nervous for that reason to maybe go into the weight room or just go to the gym altogether because they think they're going to be judged. Someone might look at you for like 1 or 2 seconds, but
That's about it.
they're more focused on what they're doing. They're more focused on lifting their weights. So yeah, I think as long as you just solely focus on yourself and understand people are trying to do the same, then I feel like you'll be able to make more progress.
What's your opinions on visualization? So visualizations of your goals that you want to achieve, or visualizations of your ambitions, like in the mornings. Like some people, when we were talking about meditation earlier, some people when they meditate and when they're doing their spinal breathing meditation for about 10 minutes, they sort of like to visualize where they'll be in like 5 years' time. My only sort of point against that would be everybody has a 5-year plan, but not everybody sticks to it, if that makes sense. Like we don't always end up where we want to be in 5 years' time. That's why I see the whole concept of a 5-year plan as a bit pointless.
Yeah, I think 5 years is a bit extensive, and
Yeah.
even if it was a year, like plans don't always work out. Sometimes you just have to freestyle it and just go with the flow and make things work as best as possible.
No, I
So
agree.
it's like you're saying before, as long as you're prepared when if the opportunity comes, then good things will happen. But even if the opportunity doesn't come, then you're still prepared and you still probably learn something.
I think also coming at it from a spiritual standpoint, because you know me, I'm a very spiritual person at times. Coming at it from a spiritual perspective, when you start living the life you want, you naturally start attracting better, if that makes I need to stop saying if that makes sense, otherwise I'm going to build a habit of it.
It doesn't make sense. You're talking about like the law of attraction.
Yeah. In terms of that, I wouldn't emphasize it as the law of attraction so much, but okay, I kind of would. Like naturally, if you start just doing things that you want to do, if you want to go like I don't know, skydiving or go into the gym or and we both have a friend that does like running and he's living his best life right now, raising money for Movember. I call him Mr. Running. Man like Sarah, he's coming on the podcast too. At some point, he said he would. But yeah, I think he's a very, very good example in terms of like living the life that you want to live and naturally things gravitate towards you. Like he doesn't have a care about anyone in the world. He's the happiest guy I know. I wouldn't say I aspire to be like that because everyone wants to be happy, right? But like he's a good sort of role model to have in your life and a good friend to have when it comes to that sort of thing. But yeah, just living the life you want to live and not having to care about anyone. And when you're naturally in a flow state like water, when you can just take shape of anything, just adapt to anything, any sort of situation you're given, remain stoic, you're living your best life, and you're gonna attract better, 100%. And I do believe in the law of attraction to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the whole concept of manifesting things, or I want this car, I'm gonna get it tomorrow. Yeah, I sort of do believe in that, but at the same time, it more so comes down to whatever's best for you, you will get. Um,
Yeah.
sometimes people in your life are removed from certain situations to help you grow, or sometimes, yeah, whatever's best for you, you'll get. It's not necessarily a thing that, oh, I want this Lamborghini tomorrow. Hopefully God will give it to me, or hopefully the universe will give it to me.
You
It's
have to
more
put in the
so,
work.
Yeah, you have to put in the work as well, and it comes down to like you can split it off into so many different branches when it comes to the law of attraction. You can talk about the law of action, law of determination. Like I've read about this shit. Um,
Yeah.
I've read about this stuff. But put it into a simple notion, you'll get what you're given, and as long as you put the effort in, you will achieve what you want to achieve. Or
Mm,
sometimes things happen for the best.
yeah.
Which is
And I think, just being, in a pandemic, um, I think the main thing people should be asking themselves or questioning, like with regards to whatever they have going on or whatever thoughts, is just why. So the reason I say that is like what you were
pause,
just saying.
pause.
Mm.
I had some mad mullet going on. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So the reason I say it's important to question why is just going back to what you were just saying about like someone wanting to buy a Lamborghini and just wishing it might happen. You have to question why you want the things that you want and you have the desires that you have.
Mm.
I feel like that will take a long time to unravel, because I feel like a lot of those things are pointless, but a lot of people just don't realize it.
Mm. What, as in like just material goods?
It doesn't necessarily have to be material, but just kind of going back again to does it benefit you?
Yeah. Okay.
What's the point in it?
Mm, you know what? I agree. There's nothing much I can say to that, apart from the fact that I guess when it comes to having things that have been, it's a want rather than a need, right? You want things, you want certain things, like you want this new car, you want that, or but you don't need it. Is that what you're basically trying to say?
Yeah, yeah,
Nah, fair enough. Fair enough. I agree. But when it comes to actually like we don't live in a meritocratic world. What am I talking about? But like when it comes to working hard for your money and doing whatever it is that you do, like as a profession, I think it's very, very important that you do treat yourself in luxuries, 100%. So spend your money wisely in terms of having these material goods. I feel like it's not necessarily a necessity to have material goods, but it's a good thing to like sort of let go, let loose, and have fun, if that makes sense. Like if you want to buy that new guitar just to learn how to play it, you don't need a guitar. You just want a guitar, right? Just learn how to play it. Like there's when it comes to people saying that material material things aren't beneficial for you, I sort of agree to a certain extent. Because it's good to indulge in yourself a little bit, and it's good to invest in yourself. And if it's for a
yeah,
thing for self-improvement, like, investing in a book to read, like The Power of Now, The Secret, whatever it is that you want to read, it's definitely a worthwhile investment, 100%. But
mm,
if you're gonna, that's what my point was. If you're gonna invest in things that are beneficial for you, that are material, not make sure, but like just ensure yourself that it's for your own benefits and your own growth, because a lot of people are
yeah,
going through mental health struggles. Buy yourself a self-help book. You don't need it, or you don't need it, but at the same time, it could be beneficial.
yeah. No, I'm not saying you have to live like a monk, but you just have to,
Some
like,
people like living like monks, though.
no. The point I'm making is like, if you want to buy a Lamborghini, if you want to buy loads of jewelry, just understand why you're buying it. You're most likely buying it because you want to impress people that just you come into contact with,
Yeah, and
and
it's like,
you have to understand and think about whether you really value their judgment. And
yeah,
if you do, it's likely gonna damage your self-esteem.
it's like what we came down to earlier when it came to sort of being selfish. It's like people aren't gonna care. It's like if
Mm.
you have that massive like diamond necklace or whatever it is for clout, people are gonna look at it for about 5 seconds and they're not gonna remember that you have it, or they will remember that you have it, but it's not worthwhile to them, so they're not gonna care. And that
Yeah.
I feel is an innate feeling of selfishness, or not selfishness, but just caring about yourself, if that makes sense. But yeah, there are a lot of green-eyed monsters out there that would sort of personify their jealousy, which is a human feeling. Like it's part of your human nature to be jealous at some points in your life. But like I said, nobody's gonna care. I think anyway. Personally, if you came to me and you showed me that you had like a diamond necklace and a fucking Ferrari, I wouldn't give a shit. Like I would be happy for you. Don't get me wrong, 100% happy for you because I'm sure you of all people probably would have worked hard for it. But I'd just be like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Congrats. Sick
Yeah.
one. Sick one. Sorry.
No, but no, you're right. You're right. It doesn't do anything for you, so it's just like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
But yeah, man.
But no, the main point. I mean, the main reason I brought that up about questioning, why you want certain things, is because the discussion we had about the pandemic and
Oh
like
yeah.
how people should have learned, how you were saying people should have learned skills.
Yeah,
And
nah, sorry, I was gonna get to that. I just literally popped into my head now. But yeah, I'll let you carry on.
yeah, I just brought it up because, in my opinion, it's more important for, like, if you've learned anything, if you've gained some sort of knowledge, you don't have to have learned a skill. You don't have to have learned a backflip or learn a language. If you
Yeah.
have, then that's great. But as long as you've reflected, just on yourself and how you can improve, you've learned something about yourself.
Yeah. On a note to that, I think it's very important in terms of reflection, like especially during the pandemic, like you reflect on your past behaviors, reflect on what you've done wrong, whatever it is that you're reflecting on. It's important, yeah. And as long as you learn, that's the significant thing. Emphasize that through your actions though. But when it comes to actually learning like people say that if you don't learn a skill during the pandemic, you sort of failed the pandemic, right? You've heard people say that, or you've heard like loads of like motivational pages on Instagram say that and whatnot. To me, I would definitely say I wouldn't say it's important, but I think it's you have so much time. My chair has just gone down. Sorry. Um, you have so much time during like the whole pandemic to actually learn something or just make yourself a better person or focus on something that's going to help you strive or towards a certain ambition or goal. It's definitely important to sort of I for one think it's just important to learn something during the pandemic, 100%. Because most of the time you're meant to be spending it indoors, right? And me myself, I don't see myself as a very very productive person during the day or during the evening or whenever it is, but I like to stay productive. Um, I'm happy to say that I've come out of this. Well, I say come out of this pandemic. We're still fucking like suffering from this pandemic right now, but like during this pandemic, I've sort of done well to learn skills, in terms of my career ambitions anyway. I sort of have a sense of direction where I want to go. And as long as you're satisfied with yourself and with what you've done during this pandemic, I think that's an important thing too. Um, but the way I see it is you have so much time inside, or you have so much time to spend by yourself in nature, wherever it is you want to spend it. You might as well invest it in yourself because at the end of the day, if you're literally sitting in your bed over there and watching Netflix all day, saying some people like to do that. They say like they're taking care of their mental health when it comes to like watching Netflix and just taking a chill pill essentially and just relaxing, right? I
Yeah,
think just for me personally, and I think I know other people are like this as well. I don't think that's taking care of your mental health. I think that's just sometimes being lazy, but then sometimes it can contribute to you feeling just normal again and just taking a break from everything. But
yeah,
you have, like I said, you have all this time. It's necessary that you don't necessarily learn a skill, but you should have something like not necessarily a side hustle, but like something that contributes towards your own personal development and that segregates you from the rest. It's like I know a couple of friends that have started a few businesses now, like there's their own side hustles that they
yeah,
started during the pandemic, and they've developed their entrepreneurship skills, they've developed their confidence skills by being able to interact with customers. It's
yeah.
mad, and you've seen people that have grown from this as well. By stepping
Mm.
outside of their comfort zone and challenging themselves by doing new things. That's what needs to be done. I
Yeah.
feel during the pandemic, but it's
The
okay. It's one
the
hundred
only
percent.
issue the only issue I have with that is I don't think a pandemic is something to be failed, because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not everyone has the luxury of like having the opportunity to learn a skill.
No, I agree. I agree with you there as well. I think fail. I think labeling it as failing a pandemic is a very, very, very not cynical, but it's a very, very far-fetched thing.
Mm.
Um, Personally, I would label it as you either didn't you either didn't use your time wisely, but then what
Yeah,
is using your time wisely nowadays? Or there's no or, to be honest. It's just you didn't use your time wisely. But there's no such thing as failing the pandemic. As long as you've taken care of yourself and you're in good health, tip-top shape, you've passed the pandemic, if anything, because there's a fucking virus out there that's killing everyone off, just emming everyone
yeah,
off. They're the imposter. Yeah,
yeah. Um, yeah, I haven't got anything else to say on that.
but self-indulgence is very, very important, and you shouldn't. Just because I've said all this stuff about the pandemic, does not believe doesn't
Doesn't
mean
mean
that doesn't mean that I don't sort of believe in self-indulgence and that you should take care of your mental health during a pandemic. Take some time to put your feet up, because I've got family members that emphasize this to me all the time. Put the hard work in during a pandemic, or put the hard work in whenever. Um, then you'll get to where you want to be. But at the same time, don't burn yourself into the ground. And I think Amar's told me this over and over again. Like, you're burning yourself into the ground. You're burning yourself into the ground. Um,
yeah.
but it's just the way I'm built, to be honest. I like to work hard for a specific period of time, and then after that, I just burn out for a little bit, have my fun for like 3-4 days, and
Mm.
then just come back to what I'm doing. But like, yeah, self-indulgence is definitely key. You don't want to burn out, and honestly, it helps a lot. It makes you feel more comfortable. Sometimes comfort is a good thing.
That is true. You do need to give yourself time to recover. It's just like going to the gym, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
work hard and then just takes a few days off for however long.
I've got a very, very cringe quote. I've got a very cringe quote. It's like, your mind is like a garden, and your thoughts are like seeds. You can either choose to plant weeds or seeds. That's fucking sick. That's sick. I read that off Instagram once, and it's just stuck with me over here for like a very, very long time. I have no clue why. It's just stuck with me. Um, but yeah, nah. I don't really have. How long have we been recording for? 48 minutes. I think that's cool, I think that's good. I think,
Very good. I do
yeah.
want to ask you one more question.
Now go on.
Wait, what were we just talking about?
Um,
What was I gonna
about
say?
self-indulgence and comforting experiences, but also stepping outside of your comfort zone is an important thing.
Mm. I was
I'll
just
have,
gonna. We don't
yeah,
have to put this in, but I was just gonna mention complaining. Do you think that's something where
we can put this in.
self-indulgence? I feel
Yeah.
like it is fine to do that, like to whatever extent you want, but
Mm.
don't complain about not being anywhere or not being in shape if all you do is wake up, watch Netflix, eat ice cream, and then go to sleep.
I think,
Like, if you're really content with that, then that's absolutely fine. I'm so happy for you that you found. I'm so happy that you found happiness doing that. But if you're in your bed at 11 o'clock at night, just about to watch the last episode of whatever you're watching, and you're like, oh man, yeah, what have I've just wasted a day. I'm not in shape. I should have done exercise. Then at
I
that point, it becomes an issue.
was gonna say, when you were talking about complaining, right? And people, if you complain, blah blah blah. I can't remember
Mm.
what you said now. Uh, it was like, if you complain about where you are, then it's not worth your time or something like that. I can't remember what you said, like word for word. Um, I think you only have the right to complain if you've actually put the work in. Um,
In what sense?
and so, like, I don't know, because like when it comes to, so for example, when it comes to, let's just use an example. So it comes to your like American football training or my football training or whatever it is, like uh, friends basketball training. Like if you're putting in the effort every single day, running around cones, doing your bleep tests, doing your agility training, stamina tests, whatever it is, and you're still not seeing results, yes, you can say you're doing something wrong, but at the same time, I feel like if you're putting the miles in, you're allowed to complain because it's only human nature to complain, right?
Yeah,
It's human nature to feel emotional about something when you've sort of strived for progress towards something and you're not seeing any results. But you know what? The right sort of people, the right. Why am I holding this bottle? the right people with the right mindset will either use that as for their progression and as fuel, or they'll just give up right there. So I feel like there are moments when it comes to your journey or when it comes to your timeline that you'll see no progress. But then I feel like coming at it from a spiritual standpoint, I'll see it as, the universe throwing a test at you. Seeing if you're actually committed towards a cause. Like if you want
Yeah.
to help people learn and you want to become a teacher or whatever, however you want to help people, but you're training to become a teacher and you're being a rubbish teacher essentially, or you're not the best at helping people. Over time with practice you'll get better, but
Yeah.
that sort of period where you struggle is my sort of perspective of a test. I think persistence is key, and when you get past that test you will start seeing results. Does
Yeah,
that make
100%.
sense?
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
make sense. But yeah, there's no benefit to complaining. There's actually zero benefit. Like
Apart from
you
all the
can
hormones
you
that
can
are
you can
released.
wait you can wake up in the morning and complain about the fact that you have to go to the gym, but
No,
complaining isn't gonna help you get into shape.
it's not. It's
Getting up and go to the gym more.
what do you think of complaining internalized though? So like, I don't know. I need to stop saying me personally. From my perspective, from my perspective, um, when I was doing these cold showers, I was telling you about them, monitoring my progress with you through our WhatsApp chats. Fuck knows why. I don't know why I needed to monitor my progress.
No, I think that's very important to monitor your progress and see
Yeah.
how you're developing. It motivates you.
Yeah, it does. But like when it came to having cold showers, before just like I'd go head first into it, like freezing cold in the morning. Um, go head first into it. I'd feel good afterwards. I feel energized, like I've already said.
Mm.
But when it came to complaining up here, I would always complain. Or when it came to my mindset before having a shower, I'd always complain. I'd be like, why the fuck do I have to step in the cold? Or why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that?
Yeah,
Um, I feel like if you use your complainants, is complainants even a word? I don't think it is. If you use your complaints as a source of motivation, and if you channel not sort of like it's sort of like channeling your aggression into some sort of like music or art, right? It will be beneficial for you. You sort of push yourself. You'll get to a point where you don't complain anymore if you sort of keep on complaining. Does that make not sort of keep on complaining? But you get my point, right?
yeah.
That sounds like
That's
complete gibberish.
that just comes back to the discipline. Like,
Yeah,
okay, take cold showers for example. You're standing outside, you know it's gonna be freezing. You know you
yeah,
shouldn't do it, and you're making these complaints like, do I really have to do this? But
yeah.
then the discipline is just like, this is gonna benefit you. So then you just jump in.
Yeah, you just literally stole the words right from my mouth. It's just like essentially you will complain at the start, but when you keep on putting the work in, you'll eventually discipline yourself to a point where you'll be like, all right, cool, there's no point in complaining about this anymore. And that
Yeah.
also ties into the whole point of monitoring your progress too.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it's good to leave it there. To be fair, I think that was good.
I wanted to ask you one more question.
Go on.
Coming to the end of the year,
Yeah.
December 31st
Shit.
is coming up.
You're gonna ask me this question, all right?
You know I'm gonna ask you,
Nah, go on.
what are your goals for next year? What are the New Year's resolutions?
For me, obviously, right at the top of the list, right at the top of the list for me. Get that graduate role, get that graduate opportunity. I've had interviews, I've kept on striving towards them. I've kept on attending them. I've had assessment centers.
Mm.
Sometimes I've flopped interviews because I've fumbled what I'm saying or I start too much. But I also had feedback from my brother as well. Like, he's been listening into some of them and he's given me some good advice, which is good.
That's
Um,
practice. What about
yeah,
practice?
yeah, it's all practice. In terms of what was your question again? I feel like I went off a bit track.
New Year's resolutions
Oh
and
yeah,
goals.
New Year's resolution. I want the podcast to get more listeners, or I want to be more active with it because there was a period of time when it came to like when I started this out with Danelle and the two other people I did it with. I wasn't. It was they were, I wasn't very consistent with it, and it wasn't structured. But I feel like this one's been a lot better when it comes to actual like an actual podcast. But yeah, like just gather more of a platform, more of an audience with this podcast. Secure the grad role and essentially just be a better version of myself, have more
Yeah.
confidence with what I'm saying, articulate myself a lot better, and hopefully get better at football too. Not your type of football, but like European football. But yeah, no, those are mine. What about you?
Well, I mean, I'm still going to be a student, so just graduate.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Graduate to go in, and my perspective, and just keep learning and developing myself.
That's another thing. I wanna read more books as well. I still haven't finished reading The Power Now yet. I'm like sort of halfway through it. It's a good book. It's a good book. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
You can just schedule time each day, maybe.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I want to channel more energy into the podcast because I feel like this will definitely help me grow as a person too, which is sick. Which is what I want. I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy with that.
Well, I mean, I think it's good that you've started now and you've not waited for January 1st to come around. I'm like, okay, yeah, now I'm gonna start.
No, do you know what it was? No, go on.
How many New Year's resolutions end up falling through?
That's very true, especially when people say they want to go to the gym during a New Year's resolution. They'll stick to it for like 3 weeks and they'll be like, nah, this is too long for me. But like when it comes to this, I think when I first started it out, there was no sense of direction of where I wanted it to go. But now I've like taken some time off. I've had some time to myself for about the last like 3-4 months whilst I wasn't recording any of these. To be like, where do I want it to end up, or like, what do I want to do with this? Like, what's the objective? And I think the main objective is to, like I've already said to you, which is to motivate people and to sort of give a better perspective of what it's like to have a good mindset. Because I myself, I'm not perfect. I know that for a fact. I've still got a lot of work to do when it comes to my mental. One of the most important things that I want to do is remain stoic, like I've already told you. But that takes time. With practice, I'll get there. But like I said, I'm glad I've started the podcast again. There's more of a sense of direction. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's good. Shall we leave it there then?
Yeah, I think that's a wrap.
Thanks for listening. Bye. I'm joking. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. Thank you for. If you stayed throughout the majority of this 58-minute recording, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on today, by the way, and speaking.
Oh, no worries. Pleasure.
Yeah, and I'll see you guys next time for the next episode.
Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.